Back here with ASU Deputy AD Lisa Young. Big thank you to Coach Bain for joining us poolside here at Mona Plummer. Going to be a really fun week or few weeks going into NCAAs for that squad. What a wonderful story that program is, though. Really going from a program that didn't have much going for them about, 15 years ago or so to national champions a year ago and looking like, hopefully, fingers crossed, men's and women's Big 12 championships coming up in just over a week's time. But really special to see what he's been able to do in his first year as head coach.
Yes, absolutely. And, looking back a year ago when there was a head coach change, 24 hours later, we named Herbie as our head coach. So we didn't really take a breath because we were ready and he was ready. And I think that's a testament just to the growth of the program and the depth that the program has and the intentionality that's been had there, but also the success. I mean, we had 2 Olympians from the men's team last summer, of course, national champions. So wishing them well next week. And again, I think, we talk about all the events happening, but if you've never been to a swim and dive event here, we were here a couple weeks ago when we took down U of A on both the men's and women's side, and huge crowds. There's just such a good community in the swim and dive community. So it's just really wonderful to see that support. So, but shout out to Coach. He's doing a fantastic job for sure.
Yes, he is. Well, and in Arizona, you mentioned the Wildcats. That's really the biggest challenger to ASU apparently in the Big 12 in swimming, so hopefully the Devils can back up what they did here a couple of weeks ago at Mona Plummer.
And we beat them convincingly a couple weeks ago.
Yes. So hopefully that happens again.
Yes.
Right?
Confident.
You mentioned a really popular Olympic sport in swimming, of course. Another one is gymnastics, and Sun Devil Gymnastics had themselves quite the Valentine's Day night. Anytime Utah comes to town, it is a big-time marquee program, of course, a blue blood of the sport, if you will. The Devils are right there with them. I mean, it was just about as close as you can get against number 4 Utah. So much so now ASU Gymnastics is ranked coming in at 25th in the most recent poll, I should say. So the success for Sun Devil Gymnastics is now starting to be noticed nationally as well. And I know that's something that you wanted to touch on coming in here. They'll be back home against West Virginia on Friday over at DFA again. But it was really special to see what they were able to do on Friday night in what was a televised meet against Utah. And the Devils showed very, very solid performances against the Utes. Yeah,
they did. I mean, just barely missing it by a couple tenths of a point. So congratulations to Coach Santos and the team there. But I think these are the milestones and these are sort of the benchmarks that we're aiming to do across all of our sports. But, our female athletes they're incredible competitors on the field, but they're also really, really high scoring academically. And they do really well on both fronts. Of course, the men do too, but just wanted to make mention of them because I think, again, any sport that you're interested, it's there for the taking, and they're very good examples for young girls. And of course, me being a mother of a young girl, I always look at these young ladies and just have so much high regard for what they have on their plate and how they perform. So it's just fantastic to see, and I'm excited for them. And let's see what they do this week.
Yeah, no kidding. And it really all started with volleyball in the fall, but the female athletes have been killing it, like you said, all year long across Tempe, and we expect that to continue, of course, later into the spring as well. Since we're at the pool, wanted to mention water polo. They'll be in Irvine, California coming up this weekend for several matches in terms of water polo. Now I want to get back over, you mentioned benchmarks and football season tickets. It's always a good time to talk Sun Devil football, especially after last season. Some benchmarks have been hit yet again. I know you're excited about this, as is everyone involved with the athletic department. Over 5,000 season tickets now. New season tickets,
correct.
New season tickets have been purchased.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that mean? I know it's a number that maybe people outside of the program, whoop-de-doo, but what does that mean for the future of this program? Yeah,
I mean, it's a big deal. We came out strong, but I think it just shows the energy and the excitement. It also means there's 5,000 new people who are coming in as season ticket holders who want to get in on what we all have experienced. And so I think that's a testament to the growth of the program and the additional audiences and additional members of the community that we've been able to reach, which is the whole goal at the end of the day. And so when you have that much excitement and then the renewals, if you have not renewed, now's the time to do that as well, because there is such a demand for that. So I just, wanted to make mention of that and note the fact that this is hopefully for us a record-breaking season ticket season for us. We're all very excited to see those young men get back on the field, and there's no energy like that. Now's the time to get in there. And of course, we'll be seeing kind of a first look at a fan fest and what fans can expect, gathering our corporate partners who give us the support there towards the end of April April in a fest that we'll be, giving further details about. But again, I think the energy is already there for the fall as we pivot. And our goal is, before people sort of go away for the summer, get your plans for the fall set, because it's going to be a hot ticket and an awesome time. So 7 home games this season. We had 6 last year. We opened the 30th of August. It's never too soon to talk about that.
Yeah, and you've got a home winning streak going now that I think safe to say Coach Dillingham and those student athletes aren't going to want to end anytime soon. They have 7 chances to add on to that this upcoming fall.
Undefeated at home last year. We're going to keep that record this year.
Yeah, why not, right? Yeah. It seems like every single time I get on social media, there is a new tweet by a national publication talking about Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson and those two coming back next year for the Sun Devils offensively. Okay, I'm going to put you in the hot seat for a little bit before we end things.
Sure.
You're a marathon runner, right?
I am.
Okay, what marathons have you ran?
I've done the Phoenix Marathon here locally a few times. I've done lots of half marathons.
Okay.
That's kind of my race. The half marathon is my comfort zone.
That's more than most people can do.
Yes,
so there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
I most recently ran the New York City Marathon, which was a bucket list.
You're just throwing that in there casually?
I know. Yeah, right in the middle of football season. It was the weekend that we were away, and I missed that one traveling, but I flew to New York City and ran the New York City Marathon. And yeah.
First off, congratulations. I know that's something that is as prestigious as it comes in the marathon world, but I'm going to tie it back now to swimming. We were hearing Coach talk about Ilya Karun and his training regimen and how he's basically doing things that nobody else on the team and very few people in the world can do with the amount of events he swims. In terms of training, I mean, you look at these athletes, they're in peak physical condition. It's so impressive what they're able to do. And then also balance a course load in school as well. That's the thing that a lot of people aren't thinking about. What can you say about just the enormity of what they're able to accomplish in terms of the stamina they have to have? Yeah,
I mean, really, I think when you see what they do on a day-to-day basis and you see their schedule and how fine-tuned it has to be, it's academically, what are their responsibilities? What do they need to do to prepare for competition? And, what are their responsibilities to their family or other things that they're interested in? To balance that, it's really always just a delicate thing that they're going to have to always think about. But we're here for them to support them. But no doubt when you get a peek behind the scenes of what actually is happening and how all of that comes together, and the teams that also, seek to support them, whether it's tutors or athletic trainers or everything to help them to be successful, it really is an incredible feat that happens. So that's probably one of the things I love the most about the work that I do, is those young people and their stories and all of their different experiences. They're all unique, they're all interesting, and they all have sort of this something about them that got them here to D1. And it's unique, and it's always lovely to hear. Special athletes, special people. For sure. That's what it takes, absolutely. Right? Not to put you back on the hot seat, Boston Marathon next? What are we thinking? You have to qualify for Boston, and I don't know if I have that in me, but we'll see. You never know. I didn't know I had New York in me, but then surprise, I ran it. So, no, I mean, for me, it's just I always have to have something very challenging that I'm doing on the side or at 5 a.m. or whenever I can squeeze in my long runs. But, this one for me was important because I ran for a cause that's close to my family. And so there was sort of this extra meaning behind it. And so I think that's the other thing with sport is there's always an emotional connection usually with your why. I think that's also why I connect to sport and why we all somehow find ourselves at these events feeling emotions, because it's just, it brings that out in all of us. It's also such a great connector, and we need that very much right now. Ultimate uniter. Totally, yes. Now we're getting deep. It's turning into like a podcast. I know. It's really important. That is part of what makes sports so great, and it's been so cool having you fill in for Graham again today. Thank you. It's like 3 months, so hopefully it's not, well, it depends on Graham's schedule, I guess, but we'll get you back on here again another time. I would love that. So best of luck to all of our Sun Devil athletics squads competing this weekend. A big shout out to hockey, like we said, with a massive weekend to come. Baseball, gymnastics, softball on the field again, water polo, and of course swimming will get going a week's time from now in the Big 12 Championship. So big thank you to Coach Boehm for joining us, and Elisa Young, as always, for filling in for Graham. I'm Braiden Bell saying so long from Tempe, and we'll talk to you next week on Sun Devil Extra.